Hey guys, today we're going to be going over the AQ40 tier gear and how you get it. Things are a little different than in Blackened Lair and Molten Core, where you just directly looted the boss and got your tier gear. In AQ40, you need to get a token from a specific boss, you need to get the appropriate idols, you need Scarabs, and then finally you also need an appropriate level of reputation. So in this video, I'm going to be guiding you through everything you need to know about the various pieces of tier you're looking to get created in AQ40. Now, first of all, where are the NPCs that you turn in the quest? So first, you do need to kill the first boss, Prophet Scarab, but just shortly after, you're going to see a cubby in which there are 3 different NPCs that you talk to complete the chain. So we're coming up on them here. So you just kill Prophet Scarab, go up the stairs, and there they are in that little cubby there. You can see the 3 NPCs, and so if you wanted to redeem your tier gear, you need to go over there and talk to them. So first, I just wanted to show what the quest looks like that you need to complete when you are trying to take the token and redeem the item. So in this case, we have the rogue head, and you need the token from Emperor Veclor that corresponds with rogue. You're going to need 2 idols of ore, 5 clay scarabs, 5 gold scarabs, and then friendly with brood of Nasdormu. Next, I want to talk about the reputation requirements. Now, at a first glance, it might seem really easy because you can get the boots and the shoulders at neutral, the legs and the head at friendly, and the chest at honored. And obviously, usually start at neutral when it comes to reputations, but that's where things are a little different. You actually are going to start at hated, and you need 36,000 reputation to push yourself from hated to hostile. So even though it does look like you would almost start being able to turn in some of the pieces, you are going to need to do some AQ40 to get this done. Now, you also have the Ahn'Qiraj Lord insignia. These drop from every boss that you kill in AQ40, and you can turn them in as a repeatable quest. The first time you get 1,000 rep, every time after that you get 500 rep. So the strategy is to save up all of the insignias. Trash from AQ40 can get you all the way to right before friendly, so maxing out neutral. And then from that point forward to go to friendly and honored and revered and on, you're going to want to use the Ahn'Qiraj Lord insignias. So save these until after you are basically maxed out neutral, and then turn them all in. That way you can start getting the chest, basically, as you can pretty much get you're going to get all the way to the end of neutral, so you're going to get to friendly pretty much with just trash, but getting up to the chest is the reason why you'd want to hold on to the insignias. It also helps with your ring that you are going to be upgrading throughout AQ40 as well. For the Scarabs, these are going to be the easiest part of getting your tier gear, and that's because the Scarabs drop in both AQ20 and AQ40, and you can buy them on the auction house. They're contained in the Scarab bags as well, so they'll be pretty easy to get and available for you to buy. Next, I want to talk about tokens. Now, different bosses drop tokens for different item types. For example, Viscidus and Huhuran drop the shoulder and the boot token. The leg tokens are going to come from Oro. The head tokens are going to come from the Twin Imps. And then finally, the chest tokens are going to drop from Cthulhu. Now, in terms of the drop rate for the specific tokens, I found some archives for some of the old drop rates for the different tokens, and they're pretty much all around 75%. So it does not look to be a guarantee that every single token will drop every time. And indeed, there is a possibility for 2 to drop, but you're not going to be seeing every single token every week. Next, I want to talk about the idols. Now, the idols are going to be contained in the large scarab coffers, and you need a key to open up the coffer. But inside, you can have 1 to 4 idols, as well as scarab bags that contain scarabs. and these coffers are going to be kind of spread out all throughout the dungeon. And so you're going to get like a varying amount of idols. It's random which idols you get, so you're not always going to get the same amount of every type of idol. And so that could change how you end up crafting tier pieces depending on what idols your guild is getting. So we've gone over the reputation, the scarabs, we've gone over the tokens and the idols. But I wanted to go over kind of how the idols and the tokens, things can get a little complicated depending on how many of each idol your guild has. And as you're divvying out the tokens, it is not entirely obvious like who should get what. So let me give you an example. Let's say the skin of the sandworm drops. You can see it rewards legs for paladin, hunter, warlock, and druid. Now, pretty much all of them are not the best, except the shaman legs. So let's say you go ahead and give the legs to a shaman, right? Then when they actually go to create the legs, that's where things get a little bit complicated. Because if we go down to the shaman legs, you can see that it takes an idol of strife to make the shaman legs. But there are other items that you are going to be making with the same idol. So even though as a shaman you might get the token for the legs really easily because the other classes don't have a very good piece of leg gear, you might not necessarily be getting the idols right away. So for example, the Death Dealer vest is a pretty decent item. It's not one of the craziest upgrades in AQ, but it's a very good chest. And even the boots are a decent upgrade for rogues. And considering the Stormcaller legs are not really very good until you have the full 5 set, you're not going to be really benefiting anyone in the raid by making these legs until you have the 5 set ready. So you have these awkward situations where you have the token and yet you might not get the idols from your guild. Now this is where the auction house can come into play and the value of the idols. The idols are BOE, so even if your guild is focusing on other pieces of tier before the piece that you're going for, you might be able to, I guess, bypass that by directly buying the idols from the auction house. Now, I've kind of made a list here of what I think will be the most expensive idols. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments on what you think the most expensive idols will be. But I think this really plays into, I guess, planning for AQ. How much gold are you going to want to have at the ready, especially if you are someone who pugs? We'll see how that goes in AQ 40. Maybe there'll still be a lot of popular pugs. But if you're not someone who is in a guild environment and you are expecting to have to buy the idols, or if you are in a guild and you know for a fact that, hey, if I get the mage head, they're not going to be giving me idols for a really long time, not before the warrior and the rogue make their pieces of gear. If you know that, then you can plan out having enough gold to buy the idols so that you can actually make the tier pieces. So this is my list in order of the idols, what they're likely to be used on, and their price. So I think Idol of Night will be the most expensive. It's going to be primarily because of the warrior shoulders. These are bis for both tanks and warriors, and they are bis the entire game, even in Naxxramas. And also Viscidus and Huhuron both drop the token that can be used for shoulders, so you're gonna have more tokens than usual. So I'm expecting the Idol of Night to be really expensive. I won't go into super detail on everything, but basically Idol of War is going to be expensive because the rogue head is insanely good, and the chest is very good for tanks, and even decent for Fury as well. I think the Idol of Sun is going to be, I guess, far less significant or far less expensive than these, but the rogue shoulders are very good as well, and the warrior head is going to be an upgrade for the tank warriors. The warrior legs are going to be very good for tanking and a decent option for DPS warriors, although there is a BOE that they can get. And then lastly, the Idol of Strife is going to have decent value because there are 2 rogue items in there and then also a piece of shaman gear. After this, I expect there to be a really big drop off. You have shaman pieces. Shaman 5 sets are going to be in demand, but far less than like warrior or rogue tier. So again, this Idol of Rebirth is 1 piece of shaman gear, and then lastly, the Idol of Life. So I would do some research into which idols you care about for your character, what pieces of tier you're shooting for, and whether or not, depending on how your guild handles idols, if it's reasonable to expect that you're going to actually be getting them to make the pieces. So I want to make sure that all of this was covered. If you have any questions on the AQ40 gear, put them in the comments below. Things are going to be a lot different than Black Lunar and Molten Core, and it is complicated doing all the gymnastics of, well, one player has the idols, should we give them the token? Or another player, the warrior shoulders are really good, we don't have the idols yet, should we give them the token and hope the idols drop next week? So things are going to get pretty complicated, unfortunately, but now you know how the idols fit in, how the tokens fit in, and the reputation, the Scarabs, and everything. So thanks for watching, guys. Follow my Twitch in the description below if you want to see me live. I'll also link my Discord if you have any random questions you want to ask me, and I will see you guys in the next video.